How far away are they allowed to be? Like if they were in that room, no good.
Oh,
I think it's safe, right?
Outside? I'm not, I don't know.
yeah, if they were outside, if the door was open, we could count them.
So how far if they're on, if they were upstairs?
They're 2 miles away.
How far?
They're twice upstairs. My son is 4 blocks away.
But he's listening.
No, we're gonna be fine, don't worry.
It's a Jewish
It'll be
neighborhood.
fine. Relax, come on, we'll be
Yeah,
fine, we'll be
Jewish
fine.
neighborhood.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll just stand in the corner and we'll stop the cars, that's all.
let's go. It's still early. Okay, it's still early. Let's go. What are we up to? We're up to
32 acres.
32. We're almost done.
Almost done.
You'll see.
I don't think we did all the pages though.
We did. What do you mean we didn't
We
do all
skipped
that?
some in the middle ones.
No, we
We'll go back.
did all that.
You want to be singing poopers.
No, I like to see them every week.
Okay.
Finish your page, make us see them.
Okay, not 32. Who told me
Yeah.
32? 82.
82.
That's right.
32.
Tomorrow,
82.
tomorrow.
All right. 32. 82. Okay, good. So last week we discussed the machlokes in the Mishnah about where Malchios goes. There were 2 options. There was the first option, which was the Kedushas Hashem option. In other words, it goes along with the third bracha, which is Kedushas Hashem, Baruch Atah Hashem HaMelech HaKadosh. The other opinion, which was expressed in the Gemara, the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, was that it goes with the fourth bracha. The fourth bracha is Kedushas Hayom. Kedushas Hayom. So let's look and let's see where it goes. Okay. We're looking at Musaf. Let's look at the repetition, because the repetition will give us the shofar blowing as well. So the repetition begins on page 440. No, 448 is the silent Shemona Esrei. 470. All right, we're going to skip some of the piyutim that are added. Okay, so we begin. You'll notice that right before Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Avoseinu, the line above that it says Avos. This is the first bracha. Right? We said the first bracha in Shemona Esrei is Avos. Begins there and it ends with, turn the page, after Zachrenu L'chaim Baruch Atah Hashem Magen Avraham. That's where it ends. Okay. Then we begin the next section. Interesting, it doesn't say Gevuros here. Yeah, it does normally. I wonder if it says it in the
regular.
Yeah, it says it in the regular. Go to, if you jump to, well, that's Shacharis. If you jump to,
Easy if you look at Shacharis.
right, but
Then
then
they
we
have Kiddush Hashem.
yeah, but then we don't get to shofar. So
No, I understand.
go to page. Yeah, go to page 448. Here, 448. It's much clearer. Okay, we'll stay on. Well, we'll stay on page 448. It'll be a little bit clearer. Avos you have, right? Then you have Gevuros. Then you have Kedushas Hashem. Okay, you see it, 448? Avos, Gevuros, and Kedushas Hashem. And it ends, right, Kedushas Hashem ends at the bottom of the next page. Baruch Atah Hashem, HaMelech HaKadosh. Okay? Then the next bracha is Kedushas Hayom. Okay, Atah v'chartanu. And that ends, no, well, that doesn't, but it doesn't end with Malchios. Malchios is a part of it. Remember we said, right, remember we said that, according to Rabbi Akiva, Malchios is part of Kedushas Hayom. So Kedushas Hayom begins at the bottom of page 450, right? It continues through 452, then 454, and in the middle of 454, what begins? Malchios, right? That's with Aleinu. Malchios begins with Aleinu, continues through 456. On 456, we have the various psukim that are associated with Malchios, and on page 458, we have the end of Malchios, the end of Kedushas Hayom, right? And what's the bracha? Right, so it's a long Baruch Ato Hashem Melech HaKol Haaretz Mekadesh Yisrael V'Yom HaZikaron. Right, so it ends with Kedushas Hayom. That's how the bracha ends. No different than Mekadesh HaShabbos or Mekadesh Yisrael V'Hazman. In other words, that's how Kedushas Hayom ends. Here it's Mekadesh Yisrael V'Yom HaZikaron, which is Rosh Hashanah. That's how Kedushas Hayom ends. Where is Malchios? Malchios is in the middle. Does Malchios have a separate bracha to it? No, Malchios does not have a separate bracha to it. But the theme of Malchios is contained within the bracha of Kedushas Hayom. Okay? Now, keep your one hand on 458. And if you jump ahead, go to Chazaras Hashatz. No, what page? No, keep going. Yeah, keep going. So page 496 begins Kedushas Hayom. Right, 496 begins Kedushas Hayom. You see it in the middle of the page? Kedushas Hayom, sanctification of the day, 496. Continues through 498. Then on 500, Malchios starts. Right, Kedushas Hayom didn't stop. Right, still going. Malchios is part of Kedushas Hayom. Right, Aleinu, then continue on all the way to, we have a number of different piyutim that are there. Right, 506, it continues. 508, these are the psukim. It ends on 508. 508 is where it ends. No, Malchios ends in 508. All right, with Baruch Ato Hashem Melech HaKol Haaretz Mekadesh Yisrael B'Yom HaZikaron. What happens right afterwards? Shofar. Right? So shofar is blown not at the end of Malchios per se, but at the end of Kedushas Hayom that contains Malchios. Right? So Malchios is not a separate bracha, it is contained within Kedushas Hayom. Okay? Then the rest is easy, all right? Then we go right now into, beginning on page 510, we go into Zichronos, right? And, right, 512 is still Zichronos. 514, it ends, Baruch Ato Hashem Zocher HaBris. So we have Shofar again.
And 516.
And then 516 begins Shofaros. And we go 516, 518, 520. Baruch Ato Hashem Shomea Kol Teruas Amo Yisrael B'Rachamim. That is the end of Shofaros. And what do we have? Shofar. And then Avoda, which is Ritzei, which they, right? Avoda, then Hoda'ah, right? Hoda'ah. In fact, they call Avoda Birchas Kohanim in our Mishnah. That's what they refer to as Birchas Kohanim. Why? Because in the avodas where we mentioned Birchas Kohanim, that's when we ask everybody to stand for Birchas Kohanim. In the avoda, you see on page, the avoda begins at the bottom of page 520. Right, Ritzei, that begins the avoda. On page 522, what do? We do Birchas Kohanim, the top of the page. Right, we do Birchas Kohanim. So the Mishnah refers to Ritzei as Birchas Kohanim, right, as the avoda. Then Hoda'ah. Right, and then finally, what's the last bracha?
It isn't Hoda'ah before Birchas Kohanim.
Isn't Hoda'ah?
Right, your Modim, and then afterwards is the Birchas Kohanim.
No, that's only Birchas Kohanim if there are no Kohanim present.
Oh.
Right, in other words, at the Kohanim go up at 522, right? That's where they go up. The actual Birchas Kohanim is 524 at the bottom, 524, 526, right?
All the way through, fine.
right?
Yeah,
And then the very end, the last bracha is, I don't even think you have it. They have it as, I mean, it's,
segregate it out.
right, it's Hamavareches Hamo Yisrael Bashalom is the end of it, okay?
Right.
So you see here in front of you exactly what we were talking about. This is Rabbi Akiva's position. Avos, Gevuros, Kedushas Hashem.
Right.
Start Kedushas Hayom. Malchios in the middle of Kedushas Hayom. The bracha of Kedushas Hayom ends, Shofar. Zichronos, Shofar. Shofaros, Shofar. And then the end of the regular end of it, right? Avoda, Hoda'ah, and Shalom. Okay, good. So that's the structure. Okay, you can put it aside for now. We'll come back to it in a minute when we're gonna see some more about it. We'll come back to it. Okay, so now 31A,
32.
32A2. 32A2. Okay. So we went through the first Labriut. We went through the first three brachos of every Shmona Esrei, and now the Gemara asks the question right in the middle of the gray bar on Lamed Beis Amud Aleph 32A2. The Gemara asks the question: Uminayin sha'omri malchios zichronos v'shofaros. Right? You gave me a source last week for Avos. You gave me a source last week for Gevuros. You gave me a source last week for Kedushas Hashem. Okay? Now the Gemara is asking, what about the other three brachos? In other words, what about Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofaros? Why do we have to say those on Rosh Hashanah? So the Gemara says, look at the following. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Rabbi Eliezer says, Dichsiv, the Pasuk says, Shabbason Zichron Trua Mikra Kodesh. You have the pasuk to your right in the right margin. Gimel, Daber el Bnei Yisrael lemor. Speak to Bnei Yisrael, saying to them, Chodesh Hashvi'i, the seventh month, which is Tishrei. I'm in the right margin, right by the middle of the page. Gimel, right, literally in the middle of the page. Daber el Bnei Yisrael lemor. Chodesh Hashvi'i be'echad lechodesh, the seventh month, Tishrei. Be'echad lechodesh, the first of Tishrei. Yelachem Shabbason. What will there be for you? You have the following. It'll be a Shabbason, a Zichron Trua, and a Mikra Kodesh. Three descriptions. Shabbason, Zichron Trua, Mikra Kodesh. Okay? So how do we understand that? So the Gemara says, the Gemara wants to say this, Rabbi Eliezer, I mean, everybody agrees this is the source for what we asked the question, Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofaros. Everybody's going to agree that this is a source for at least Zichronos and Shofaros. Malchios, no, but Zichronos and Shofaros, and a couple of other things as well. So let's see. So Rabbi Eliezer says, Dichsiv Shabbason, Shabbason, phrase number 1, Zichron Trua, phrase number 2, Mikra Kodesh, phrase number 3. Shabbason, how do we interpret Shabbason? Right? What is a Shabbason? What is Shabbason?
Rest.
A day of rest, right? So Shabbason, Rabbi Eliezer says, is Ze Kedushas Hayom. What is that coming to tell us? Telling us that there's an obligation of Kedushas Hayom on Rosh Hashanah, right? In other words, maybe we would think Kedushas Hayom only applies to Yom Tov. Only applies to Shabbat. Kedushas Hayom applies to Rosh Hashanah also. That is the phrase of Shabbason, according to Rebbe Eliezer. Zichron, what about the phrase Zichron? Says Rebbe Eliezer, Eila Zichronos. Oh, okay, that works.
Yeah.
Right, Zichronos, that makes sense. Cherua, Elu Shofaros. Okay, so far, right? So far we're making sense here, right? Shabbason is a little bit hairy, because it could be interpreted in different ways, but certainly Zichron and Trua are interpreted as Zichronos and Shofaros. Mikra Kodesh, what does Mikra Kodesh mean? Says Rabbi Eliezer, Kadshehu Ba'asiyas Melacha, which means, not what it says. It means Kadshehu, sanctify it by not doing Melacha. That's what it means. Right? Kachehu, sanctify it by refraining from asiyas malacha, refraining from doing work.
Yeah.
All right? So according to Rebbe Eliezer, the four expressions are Shabbason, means Kedushas Hayom. Zichron, Zichronos. Trua, Shofaros. Mikra Kodesh, don't do malacha. That's Rebbe Eliezer. But we're going to see Amar Lo, Rebbe Akiva. Rebbe Akiva disagreed with him. And Rebbe Akiva said, Mipnei ma lo ne'amar Shabbason Shavus. All right? In other words, if I have to pick the one thing that distinguishes this day from the other days of the week, what would it be? It would be the fact that you can't do malacha on this day, right? In other words, what makes Rosh Hashana a Yom Tov for us? The fact that you can't do malacha. So Rabbi Akiva says, if that's the most compelling piece of Rosh Hashana, so why not begin with that? Right? So according to Rabbi Akiva, Shabbason doesn't mean Kedushas Hayom. What does Shabbason mean? Shvus. It means to rest, not to do malacha. Shebo pasach hakasuv tchiva. Right? Because that's what the pasuk is beginning with. Rabbi Akiva is saying, why are you waiting until he's saying to Rabbi Eliezer? Why, Rabbi Eliezer? I like you, you're a good guy. But why are you waiting until the end of all the phrases to come up with the thing that most differentiates this day from any other day of the week? Do it. That should be the first thing you look at. Therefore, Ella, so now Rabbi Akiva gives his opinion. Ella Shabbason, what does it mean? Kodshehu ba'asiyas malacha. Right away, Rabbi Akiva jumps in with the fact that it's a Yom Tov and you can't do malacha. His phrase of Shabbason means Kadshehu ba'asiyas malacha, sanctify the day by not doing malacha. Then he says Zichron, Eila Zichronos. Okay, good, he agrees to that.
And that's the way it's referred to even in the Chumash, right? On the Yom Tovim, it'll be a Shabbos.
Shabbason.
Right.
Correct. But you can look at it from different ways. In other words, Rebbe Eliezer and Rebbe Akiva both have the word in front of them, they just interpret it differently. Rebbe Eliezer interprets it to mean it's telling us that the day has a special kedusha to it. Right? The fact he learns that you're prohibited from doing malacha from the last phrase. Okay, Rebbe Akiva is just switching around the first and the last. Says, Eila Zichronos, Terua, Elo Shafaris, Mikra Kodesh, Zo Kedusha Sayam. Okay. So what do we have? So far, the pasuk which has been suggested, what was the question?
Where do we get the source for the three?
Where do we get the source for the three? Malchios, Zichronos, and Shafaros. What's the answer? The answer says this pasuk, but from the pasuk we only get two. We only get Zichronos from Zichron and Shafaros from Trua.
Right.
So we asked about Malchios, but we didn't give an answer for Malchios. So now the Gemara is going to say, okay, nice, but where's Malchios? Right? Minayin she'omri Malchios. How do you know you're supposed to say Malchios? Very nice. You gave me the answer for Zichronos. You gave me the answer for Shafaros. But I asked about Malchios. Minayin she'omri Malchios. Tanya, Rebbe Omer, Rebbe says, Ani Hashem Elokeichem. And then, Ubachodesh Hashvi'i, Zo Malchus. What is Rebbe referring to? So Rebbe is actually referring to two psukim, right? Look at Dalet, look at Pasuk Dalet. Right? I'm sorry, not Pasuk Dalet, but source Dalet in the Torah or Hashalem, right? What is source Dalet coming? What Pasuk is source Dalet? Vayikra, right? Chaf Gimel, Pasuk Chaf Beis. Look at source Gimel. What is source Gimel? Where is source Gimel from? Right. So essentially, source Dalid comes before source Gimel. Now, how does source? And there is a pasuk in between, which we don't have here. Right. We don't have that pasuk. Right. That pasuk begins with a chodesh hashvi'i.
You're missing Gimel, right?
Right, we're missing
Chav Gimel.
We're missing Chav Gimel.
Yeah, Perek, Chav Gimel, Pasuk, Chav Beis, and Chav Dalet. We don't have.
Yeah, Chav Dal before Chav.
Yeah, Chav Dalet, but they cited it first.
Okay, let's see. Let's just see if we can get. Chav Gimel, hold on a second. Let's see.
I don't have that app.
You don't have,
Not yet, no.
I'm not sure. I have it somewhere. Let's see. Where is that?
Definitely got a finish. Yeah.
No, yeah, we got it kind of,
It would have taken me longer to look it up on that and just open the book. But
Okay, what are we looking at? Tanakh,
Vayikra Chav Gimel.
Vayikra,
Chav Gimel.
Chav Gimel. Okay, so in Vayikra Chav Gimel, Pasuk.
Chav Gimel is the one we're missing. We have Chav Beis and Chav Dalet.
This is all the commentary. Would have been faster.
I'm dangerous.
It would have been faster. It would have been faster.
But it's more
It
fun.
would have been faster. Okay, well, we're going to take the Mefarshim out. Okay, hide all Mefarshim. Okay, there we go. Okay.
They're not too happy. This has to be happy. It's just hide them. Yeah, that's why.
Chav Gimel. It's amazing. It doesn't hide this particular Mefarshim. Okay, Chav Gimel. You know what? Chav Gimel is? Veidaber Hashem al Moshe Lemor.
Okay, well.
Right. So, the fact that we're missing Chav Gimel is not a big deal. Right, not a big deal. Okay. But so what? Right. What is it? What is it? Right. So what is the Gemara looking at? The Gemara is looking at the fact that Pasuk Chav Beis ends with the words Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Right. That is source number Dalid. Right, and that's talking about what we do at Shavuos time. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. It ends, right, and then the next real pasuk, right, Daber Bnei Yisrael and Lord B'Chodesh Hashvi'i, right. So the fact that one pasuk ends with Hashem Elokeichem Emes, no, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, and the pasuk about Rosh Hashana begins quote right away. So we learn that from there. We learn that Zo Malchus. That's where Malchus comes from. Good. From what? What? Where's Malchus? Right. Okay. Ani Hashem Elokeichem is what we proclaim on Rosh Hashana. That's the idea here. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. That's how the pasuk ends. Right away we talk about Rosh Hashana. So what's the message that is darshaned out from that? That Ani Hashem Elokeichem is the message that needs to be emphasized on Rosh Hashana, and to acknowledge God as Hashem Elokeichem, that is Malchus. That is referring to God as Melech. He is the boss, right? That's referring to him as Melech. So this is the opinion of Rebbe. Rebbe says it's from the end of one pasuk and from the beginning of the next pasuk. Rebbe Yossi Bar Yehuda disagrees. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda Omer, Eino Tzarech. I don't need the end of one pasuk and the beginning of the next pasuk. Why? Because I have it all in one pasuk. Harehu Omer, the pasuk says, V'hayu lachem lezikaron lifnei Elokeichem. Right? Look at pasuk Hey. Right? Look at pasuk Hey. Uviyom simchaschem u'moadechem u'roshei chadshechem. Usikatem b'chatzot ros al olo seichem ve'al zivchei shalmeichem vayu lachem lezikaron lifnei Elokeichem ani Hashem Elokeichem. So according to Rabbi Yossi but Rabbi Yehuda, I don't need the end of one pasuk and the beginning of the next because I have it all in one pasuk. Now we could spend a lot of time here and say, why does Rebbe say you need the end of one pasuk and the beginning of the next pasuk, and why does Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda disagree, not say that, and then flip it around? We're not going to do that, but just you see, right? They have two different sources here for that. Okay. She'ein tamid lomar ani Hashem Elokeichem, right? Umat tamid lomar ani Hashem Elokeichem, right? Why? I mean, in other words, why did what Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda is saying is she'ein tamid lomar ani Hashem Elokeichem. The pasuk didn't need to say ani Hashem Elokeichem. The pasuk could have ended. Look at source Hey. The pasuk could have ended with Lifnei Elokeichem. Right. What did it need? What does it need to say at the end? Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Umat hamalomar ani Hashem Elokeichem. Why does it say ani Hashem Elokeichem? Says the Gemara. This is Rabbi Yossi's opinion. Zeh bina'av l'chol makom shene'emar bo zichronos yiyu malchios imahem. So what is it coming to tell us?
Every time there's a chronos, it has to be.
Right. Remember, what did the pasuk just say? Look again at pasuk Hey. What does it say? V'al zivchei shalmechem v'hayu lachem lezikaron lifnei Elokechem ani Hashem Elokechem. Wherever the word zikaron is mentioned, which is zichronos, it has to be accompanied by malchios. So what's our source for malchios? Our source for malchios is either the end of and the beginning of Chav Dalet together, or this pasuk, right, from Bamidbar, which has them both, which has it in the same pasuk, referring to Zichronos and Malchios together. But the bottom line is Ani Hashem Elokechem is Malchios. Where we learn it from, to which Ani Hashem Elokechem we connect it, that's a subject of some debate, right? But that's Malchios. Yeah, but we need to connect it to something having to do with Rosh Hashanah. Okay. So now the Gemara asks the question, another question. Asks the Gemara, V'hechan omra l'kedushas hayom. Where is kedushas hayom? Right? Where do we mention kedushas hayom? Okay, what does it mean? Where do we mention kedushas hayom? So let's just think for a second. Okay, in a normal Shabbos Shmona Esrei, how many brachos are there in a normal Shabbos Shmona Esrei?
7.
7, right. We did this last week.
We did this last week. 7.
That hasn't changed.
3 are the first 3, the same 3 all the time.
Right.
3 are the last 3, the same 3 all the time. In the middle is Kedushas Hayom. In the middle is Kedushas Hayom. So there are 2 ways to look at Kedushas Hayom from the perspective of where it falls in the Shabbos davening. Either it is bracha number 4, or else it is the middle bracha. Now it just so happens that on Shabbos, 4 is the middle bracha. Okay, right?
Always.
Avos,
not always the middle.
right? Avos,
Right.
Gevuros, Kedushas Hashem,
That's all.
Kedushas Hayom, Avoda, Hoda, and Shalom. Right? So the middle bracha, which is Kedushas Hayom, happens to also be the 4th bracha.
Right.
But what about if you have a situation where the 4th bracha is not the middle bracha?
Yeah.
So where do you put Kedushas Hayom? In other words, the Gemara is looking at Shabbos and saying, is Kedushas Hayom where it is because it's the middle bracha? Or is Kedushas Hayom where it is because it's the 4th bracha? Right? What's the reason for it? And that's going to obviously make a difference when it comes to Rosh Hashana, because on Rosh Hashana, what's the middle bracha? Let's go through it. First bracha Avos, second bracha Gevuros, third bracha Kedushas Hashem. You should know that in your sleep. 4th bracha. Well, okay, it's Kedushas Hayom, but that answers the question already. It's Malchios, all right? Let's call it, right? Let's call it Malchios, correct. We're going to call it Malchios, right? 5th bracha is Zichronos, 6th bracha is Shofaros, 7th bracha is Ritzei, right? Ritzei, which is the Avoda. 8th bracha is Hoda'ah, and 9th bracha is Shalom. Okay, there are 9 brachos in Rosh Hashanah Musaf. What's the middle bracha? What number is the middle bracha?
Number 5.
5.
Not 4.
Right? The middle bracha is number 5. What's number 5? Zichronos. So that's the debate, right? Where do we mention Kedushas Hayom? Right? Do we mention Kedushas Hayom as the 4th bracha?
Or as the middle bracha?
Or, in other words, or would we put, in other words,
With Malchios or Zichronos?
Correct. That's the question. And it's based on how do you understand Shabbos, right? Okay. So let's look. So that's what the question is. The Gemara asks the question and says the Gemara, V'hechan omra lekedushas hayom. We are literally right 32A3, right in the middle of the page, right? 3 lines down in the gray bar, 4 lines down in the gray bar. V'hechan omra lekedushas hayom. So Tanya, we learned the following brisa. Rebbe Omer, Rebbe says, where is Kedushas Hayom mentioned? In Malchios. Right? Kedushas Hayom is mentioned with Malchios. Right? Why?
The fourth.
Ma matzinu b'chol makom berevius afkan berevius. Because what do we find by Kedushas Hayom? It's always mentioned in the fourth bracha. On Shabbos it's mentioned in the fourth bracha. On Yom Tov it's mentioned on the fourth bracha. So it should be mentioned on the fourth bracha also here. The fourth bracha here is Malchios. So we should mention Kedushas Hayom together with Malchios, which is what we do. Exactly what we do. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Omer, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, Im Zichronos. Where do you say it? You say it with Zichronos. So basically you would say, just like we have Malchios wrapped into Kedushas Hayom, according to Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, what would we have? We would have Zichronos wrapped in Kedushas Hayom. But it would be in the fifth bracha. Why does Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel say in the fifth bracha in Zichronos? Ma matzinu b'chol makom be'emtza. Just like we find that Kedushas Hayom is always mentioned be'emtza, in the middle of the Shmona Esrei, afkan be'emtza, right? So too, here it should be what? Here it should be be'emtza, in the middle. Ukishekidshu bezdin es haShabbos be'usha. What? I'm sorry, es Hashana, correct. Okay. So what do we have here? We have the following. The Gemara is now going to take these two opinions and tell us a story that happened with these two opinions. These two opinions about where Kedushas Hayom was mentioned. So it happened one day. Ukishekidshu bezdin es Hashana be'usha. All right. Remember, we said the Beis Din moved from Yerushalayim to Karen B'Yavna to Yavna, and from Yavna it moved to Usha. Right. So when the Beis Din was in Usha, Yarad Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka lifnei Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, Yarad, he went down before Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. What does it mean he went down before Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel? It means he served as the Shaliach Tzibor. Why did they use the term Vayarad? So have any of you been to Prague? You go to the Golem's shul in Prague. So if you go to the shul of I guess it's not called the Golem shul. Maybe it is called the Golem shul, right? Right. It's called the.
They call it. They have a name for it.
Right. They have a name for it, right? The altar. I don't know.
Something like that.
Right? When you go there, you'll notice that the place where the Shaliach Tzibor stands is a depression in the floor, almost like a pit in the floor. Why? Anybody know why?
People were standing in there, like wearing it out now.
Humility.
Close, yeah. Because what do we say? We say in Tehillim, Mima'amakim kirasicha. From the depths, Mima'amakim, from Amok, from deep down, I call out to you, a Kadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, to be deep down is a sign of really needing a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So we symbolically do that by creating a depression where the Shaliach Tzibor stands.
We don't do that. You haven't done that.
Well, we don't do it in our shul. In fact, I've only seen it.
You have to go to Prague to see it.
No, I've seen it also in the summer. In the summer, I daven at the Landers. You know the Landers Yeshiva in Queens. So Landers Yeshiva in Queens has a I won't say bungalow colony.
Queens or in Flatbush?
The one in Queens. I think it's the one in Queens.
They count you for that menu?
Mm-hmm. That minion they count me
You're Jewish
for.
enough for that.
Right, that minion they count me for. They have, in other words, they have guys learning up there, and they also have homes for people. Bungalow colony, it's a community. It's called Birchwood. Right. And in their shul where they daven, the floor where the Shliach Tzibor stands goes down. Of course, if you're not paying attention and you're walking across there and nobody's davening, you could kill yourself, right? But it does go down because of this mima'amakim, right? I don't know. Have you seen any other shuls around? I don't know. Any of you know of any other shuls that have it?
I would have thought it sunk in because that's where they daven every day.
Right,
that's what Ron was saying. I was saying you wore it down.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it was
How come we went the other way?
What do you mean? What do you mean the other way?
We now it's raised, yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
I mean, we do it just reverse. I mean, I know maybe you can hear them better if we raise it.
Oh, well, we daven, our Shliach Tzibur davens from the, from
Higher,
higher.
most shuls.
Higher. A lot of shuls do it.
Most shuls do it. What's with that one? Is it-
I think it's more of a
It's
practical. I
consistent?
think it's more of a practical
see and hear 'em
question,
better.
so that you can hear them better. I think that's really what it is. That's really.
Yeah.
Most places don't do what we do. Most places have a separate amud
Yeah.
for the shliach tzibor, like we have in the base medrash.
Right.
We have in the base medrash. We have an amud, which is where the shliach tzibor stands. It's right in front of the Aron Kodesh, and from here comes the expression. Maybe you've heard the expression.
For the omelet.
Right? Well, daven for the amud, but what it also is, the expression in Hebrew is yored lifnei hateva. That's what we refer to someone who davens. He's yored lifnei hateva. What does it mean? He goes down in front of the ark. Where he goes down, where's he going? He goes down into the depression. Where is that depression? By the amud. Where's the amud? In front of the ark. And that's most shuls have a separate amud for the person who's davening, and they have a shulchan where the Torah reading is. They have a shulchan where the Torah reading is. Okay. Why we don't have that? It's a long story. Anyway.
Politics.
Sort of. Okay.
Always.
So this is the machlokes, right? That was the machlokes, and here's the story. So one year in Usha, so Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka was the Baal Tefillah, right? He was the shliach tzibur. And he was Yarad, he went to daven, lifnei Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, meaning Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel was the rabbi, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, he went to daven. The Asa ke Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori. And what did he do? He davened according to the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. What's the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri? You have to look back up to your Mishnah. What does the Mishnah say? So Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri said, Malchios goes where? Go back up to the Mishnah. Malchios gets wrapped up in Kedushas Hashem. That's Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri's opinion. So, all right. So that is right. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Right. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, maybe because they shared the same name, I don't know. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka gets up to daven in Usha, where Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel is the head, and he davens according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. And what happens? So Amar lo Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says to him, Lo hayu nohagim kain biyavne. Guess what? That's not the way we do it. It's not the way we did it in Yavne. Right? Not the way we did it in Yavne. Now, what is he referring to? Not the way we did it in Yavne. In Yavne, right, we're talking about Rabbi Gamliel was his father. Right? Rabbi Gamliel was in charge in Yavne. This is Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel was in charge of Yavne. And Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, hey, Yochanan ben Broka, this is not how we did it in, right? Not how we used to daven in the old country, right? It's not how we did it in Yavne. Liyom Hasheni, the next day, or we'll see, maybe there's a different meaning here. Liyom Hasheni, Yarad Rabbi Chanina Binosha Rabbi Yossi HaGalili. So Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel wasn't taking any chances. He wasn't letting Rabbi Yochanan daven again. So on the next time the davening came around, Rabbi Chanina Binosha Rabbi Yossi HaGalili. V'asa ki Rabbi Akiva. What did he do? He did it like Rabbi Akiva, which is how we do it, which is wrapping Malchios up with Kedushas Hayom. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said, "Kacha you know hagin b'yavne." Right? That what?
That's how we did it.
Right? You did. Yeah, this is the way we used to do it. Right? Right? This is the way they did it in the Amalekite site. This is the way we used to do it in Yavne. Okay. So what would that seem to indicate? If I asked you, does Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel hold like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri or like Rabbi Akiva? What would you say? It would seem clear that Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel holds like Rabbi Akiva. And that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, Lememra, does this come to say the Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel ki Rabbi Akiva spirale? The Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel is holding like Rabbi Akiva. So, Rabbi Akiva spirale? Amar, Rabbi Akiva Malchios in Kedushas Hayom Amar. All right. Right. Amar Lehuva Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Amar Kedushas Hayom im Hazichronos. Right. In other words, when we had our machlokes about Kedushas Hayom, right, whether Kedushas Hayom is bracha number 4 or in the middle, what was Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel's position?
Kedushas Hashem versus
No. Kedushas Hashem versus Kedushas Hayom is the machlokes in the Mishnah.
Right.
But in the Gemara, we had another machlokes. Where do we put Kedushas Hayom? Do we do it as bracha number 4, or do we do it in the middle?
5.
So Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says we do it in the middle, right?
5.
So which is 5, which is Zichronos. So according to Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Kedushas Hayom is wrapped up with Zichronos. But what did when
they davened, he did it the other
he davened, what did he do? He put it with Malchios, seemingly like Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said, "Oh, that's what we used to do." So how could it be that? So Amar Lahu, Amar Rabbi Zera. No, so it didn't mean that Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel holds like Rabbi Akiva when it comes to the bracha, but rather Lomar Shetoki Lemalchios. That what? That based on the way that he did it, there was a tekiah for Malchios. Remember, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, where Kedushas Hayom, where Malchios was tied up in Kedushas Hashem, they didn't have tekiah shofar afterwards. Why not?
Because then they went into the next one, which is Kedusha.
Because then they went into Kedushas Hayom, and that would be a hefsek.
Right, you're not allowed.
So they would. But if you put Malchios with Kedushas Hayom, so then you are blowing after Malchios, right? So Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel wanted, when he said you did a good job. Why was it? It wasn't because you said Kedushas Hayom with Malchios. Because I hold, says Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, that Kedushas Hayom should be with Zichronos. But what did I like about what you did? What I liked about what you did is that we blew shofar after Malchios, which we didn't do the day before because he put Malchios, Rabbi Yochanan and Broka put Malchios with Kedushas Hashem. Okay. Jeff, do you have one upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be 9, right?
Maurice.
You want to give Maurice a call or Joe or Franco?
Yeah.
Give him a call, see if he can come in a couple minutes.
It's charging.
Okay. I thought for sure your note would.
Bring somebody out.
I have to remind them. Okay.
I don't know if it went to everybody because I just hit reply all.
Okay.
I don't know how that happened. Did you get it? Did you get the rabbi? You didn't get a reply from me? Reminder that, didn't go out to enough people.
I didn't get it.
I didn't see it either.
All right.
I promise you must have been the only one who
So
saw
from
it.
now on, I'm
no one
gonna-
got
I don't
it.
know
Was
how
it
to do
even
it.
written?
From now, I'm going to ask people to respond so we'll know how many we got. Okay. So the Gemara now asks a question. The Gemara says, what is this Yom HaSheni? Right? Remember we said Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka davened the first day. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said that's not what we used to do.
We got somebody different to
We got somebody different to daven the second day. Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi davened the second day. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said shkayach. That's what we used to do. Meaning, we used to always sound shofar by Malchios. Okay. So the Gemara is now going to ask this question. L'yom hasheni yara Rabbi Chanina. My sheni. What is the meaning of Yom HaSheni? What is Sheni? If you want to say it's Yom Tov Sheni, right? If you want to say that Yom HaSheni means the second day of Rosh Hashana, it's Yom Tov Sheni. So Lememra, that must mean the Abruha Le'elul, right? In other words, when you have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, how do you have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah?
It's a full month.
Means that Elul is a full month, right? Because Elul is day 30, which they observed as the first day of Rosh Hashanah. And then the witnesses didn't come. And the next day, which was the first of Tishrei, became the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Okay? So if you want to say that Yom HaSheni is referring to the second day of Rosh Hashanah, that would mean that Elul was a full month.
30-day month.
But Elul was a full month, a 30-day month. V'ha'amar Rabbi Chanina bar Kahana says, remember we learned this once before, Miyamos Ezra v'Elach lo matzinu Elul me'ubar.
They never had one.
Never had an Elul me'ubar. So how could Yom HaSheni mean the second day, if in order for it to be the second day, Elul would have to be a full month, it would have to be me'ubar. And we haven't had a full month since Ezra.
He meant that literally.
Yeah, literally, right. And remember, where was Usha? Usha was, you get him?
My son's coming down. I'm going to go across you because he has his son there. So somebody's there. He may be he's not answering his phone, but it's somebody's there.
Okay.
At least two people. So
You only need one.
I know only one.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff. V'ha'amar Rabbi Chanina bar Kahana, Rabbi Mos Ezra v'Elach lo matzino ela me'ubar. As Amar Rav Chisda, my shna liyom hasheni. What does Yom Hasheni mean? It doesn't mean the second day of Yom Tov, because if it would be the second day of Yom Tov, it would have to have been an Elul. It would have to have been an Elul me'ubar, right? And if it was an Elul me'ubar, we have a problem because we said there were no Elul me'ubars. So it has to mean Yom Hasheni has to mean L'Shana Haba, the next year. So in other words, it did take him a whole year to find the new chazan. It took him a whole year to find the new chazan, right? That would do it in a way that would make Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel happy. Okay, now interesting. Why does it say right? Why does it say Usha? Why does it say Usha? Because remember, every other place in Eretz Yisrael had 2 days of Yom Tov, right? Because they weren't sure which one. But Usha, in other words, Usha was where the Beis Din was. So the place where the Beis Din was only had 1 day of Rosh Hashanah. The only reason that the Beis Din could possibly have, the only reason that the place where the Beis Din was, such as Usha, the only way it could possibly have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah would be if Elul was Mu'ubar. And we said Elul can't be, we haven't had a Mu'ubar Elul since Ezra. So as a result of that, we have to say Yom HaSheni doesn't mean the second day of Yom Tov, it means the second.